Alrighty, guys, thanks for joining me. This is your host, ID Jester. In this episode, we're going to be starting a look back at the rise and fall of America's card company, STRATOMATIC. Oh boy, there's going to be a lot to talk about. I'm not sure how long this video is. I might split it up into several videos or whatever, but I got a lot of important things I want to say and share with everyone out there. I've done quite a few Stratomatic videos actually. I've done some rants and I've done some complaints and I've compared Stratomatic with other companies and other game systems out there. I basically get two replies back. Reply number one is basically from someone that says, I grew up playing Stratomatic baseball. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I enjoy it. I play it all the time. Jester, you're just a hater. And it doesn't matter to me how the company is because I enjoy it the way it is and I'm going to continue supporting it the way it is. And then I have number two. And the second reply is, yeah, Jester, you're right. I agree with everything you say. And I stopped playing Stratomatic 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 5 years ago because I just couldn't stand what the company was doing and their lack of support. And I just not going to spend my money in a company that treats their customers the way they are. So I get those comments pretty regularly throughout a month. Probably I get, I don't know, a couple dozen messages or emails or comments on my videos from different people out there. And basically everyone kind of falls into one of those two categories when it comes to their reply back. So you either fall into camp one or you kind of fall into camp number two in general. And so today we're going to be looking at and talking about the Stratomatic. This isn't going to be talking about the actual game systems and how the game is played. We're not going to be talking about specific people at the company. We're not going to be talking about them in general. We're going to be talking about the overview of the way a Stratomatic company has evolved through the years, where they're at recently, and why there is a disconnect between so many people on their views of Stratomatic. And this, my friends, is not going to be a rant. This is just going to be information for you to think about. And if you can get anything out of these videos, I just want you to think about what I had to say. I'm not trying to change your mind or alter it in any way. I'm not saying that one person's view is more important than another person's view because we're all different. I'm going to be talking about how your views are going to affect the players that do play Stratomatic and the players that don't play Stratomatic and the company's views on their customers. Sports gaming in general fall into one of two categories. Category number one are people like myself out there that play Stratomatic, APA, and all the other payoff pitch and all these other card and dice games. And then there is a throng of people that play sports games on Xbox and they play them on PlayStation and on the PC. And you know them, you've seen the commercials. There's FIFA, there is Madden, there is NBA, there's NHL, all these other companies, other games out there. The companies like EA and Ubisoft and Activision have created for their customers. And we're going to talk about those companies first and how that's going to be related back to what happened to Stratomatic. So back in the mid to late 1990s, sports gaming on the PC and on the consoles started to take off, and these companies created NHL, Madden, and all the different brand names that are out there. And through the years, they released more and more of their games and got a loyal fan base. People that would buy them every single year. They enjoyed them. They played them extensively. They spent their money on all of the different versions and the different packs and the downloads and all kinds of things. And they really got more and more people in sports gaming on the console or on the PC in general. And we're talking about these games that are made by EA, Activision, and big AAA companies like that. We're not talking about the STRATOMATIC or Out of the Park Baseball or anything like that at this point. Well, through the years, they got a huge loyal fan base out there. And I don't know if you are an online gamer or if you're a sports gamer that you play games on the Xbox or on the PlayStation or on your PC. Recently, within the last, say, 4 or 5 years, those game companies have taken a terrible route with their sports games. In fact, 2019, there is extreme controversy going on right now in the community, the sports gaming community, on the releases and where things are going and what they're doing with them, because there just seems to be a total lack of innovation. There seems to be no desire to create new and interesting things. And of course, their fan base is in an uproar. And they are just killing the games and the companies for not innovating and for not trying to expand and add new things and try to keep their fans and their loyal customers front and center. In fact, I'm going to show you a video here, and this is from a very famous YouTuber, and he's going to talk to you about the FIFA 20, and I've just kind of highlighted some of his thoughts about it, and then we're going to talk about how that relates to Stratomatic.
Things just get worse, and this is titled FIFA 20 Legacy Edition. That's what the Switch version is called, and for good reason. So this right here is a review by IGN, one of few outlets who actually went out of their way to review the Switch version of this game. And the opening paragraph alone kind of tells you everything you need to know. This reads, "There's honestly no genuine reason I could give you to purchase FIFA 20 on the Nintendo Switch if you already own FIFA 19 on Switch. I don't generally share the sentiment of the crowd that labels sports games as the same every year, but when it comes to FIFA 20 Legacy Edition, all of the comment section tropes are valid. For a series already drowning in microtransaction debate, the Switch version really doesn't help EA's case in currying gamers' favor by essentially offering nothing but a bare-bones roster update for nearly the price of a full game. A macro-transaction, if you will." Now, really quickly, I want to address this sentiment here that sports games are not the same every year. Well, the stance that I think a lot of people have is that there isn't enough of an upgrade. Obviously, there's some tweaks here and there, a few additions here and there, but they just feel like quarter-step upgrades rather than a full step up. None of these sports games justify reselling a new entry for $60. You know, it just feels like it's just an update masqueraded as a brand new product, and justify reselling a new entry for $60. You know, it just feels like it's just an update masqueraded as a brand new product. And when you're seeing games like, I don't know, like No Man's Sky, for example, had that Beyond update recently, That was a free update, and it feels more substantial than what FIFA 20 got from FIFA 19. So that's more the sentiment that people share. Yes, we know it's not exactly 100% the same from one year to the next, but they're similar enough that it doesn't feel worth the $60 price tag they charge every year to essentially wipe the slate clean for the microtransactions, so people have to gamble again to re-earn the players they earned last year. Now, when it comes to FIFA 20, the sentiment of sports titles are the same every year. That's pretty much fully realized here. Just about everyone agrees that FIFA 20 is basically a clone, a copy-paste job of FIFA 19 with like a new label slapped on there and with a few minor differences and an update for the roster. That's about it. So this segment's actually poor. It is very much a full price game. It should not cost $50 if it's really just a roster update of FIFA 19 and nothing more. Now the reviewer proceeds from a FIFA 19 standpoint, and when you just slap on the FIFA 20 label and don't even complete FIFA 19, I mean, that makes this all the more egregious. And then it highlights right here, without any major changes to the way you play the game, there just doesn't feel like there's anywhere near enough there to warrant a full release. And this is a sentiment many are sharing. And then right here, the review concludes with the following verdict. This year's subpar version of FIFA for Switch is almost indistinguishable from last year's subpar version of FIFA for Switch and embodies every bad thing you've heard about sports games recycling their content year after year, almost to the point of parody. The lack of additions to FIFA 20 Legacy Edition outside of its new, more honest name and its refusal to innovate either on or off the pitch are disappointing, even borderline insulting. This is surely not the legacy EA had in mind. Kind of underplaying the real sentiments of people in terms of what they think of sports titles. Overall, I think this review is on point in describing exactly the kind of nefarious product this is, just how lazy and how little effort EA put into this release. And
all right, so there you go. That is kind of the overview of that, kind of what's going on in the actual sports game market out there for 2019. It's to the point now where the player base is just totally disgruntled with the effort and the desire for these companies to actually innovate, create new things, to expand, to do something, release a brand new product with nothing more than a roster update. And they are getting completely hammered on the Metacritic score. So if you're not familiar, Metacritic basically tells kind of overviews the reviews and customer feelings of the game. And you can see here FIFA 20, Metacritic score of only 43, generally unfavorable reviews of this game, mostly saying exactly what the reviewer said. It's just a exact copy of what had happened the previous year with just a roster update. And you can see the user score of 0.8. Now, I'm not for sure on this because I know Anthem was way down there at one point, but this might be a world record for the lowest Metacritic score out there. But you can see overwhelmingly disliked, right? And you can see down here, of course, there's the reviews. They basically are kind of saying the same things. You can put this in pause and kind of review it, or if you want. Players are just saying worst game ever. It's just a copy and paste. Why even release a new edition if you're doing this? And of course, you got the one guy out there that's like, no, this is the best thing ever. So, that is the sports game market out there for the Xboxers and the PlayStation guys. And basically, how does that even relate to Stratomatic? Well, Stratomatic was released back in 1961 by Hal Ritzman. and he eventually, was selling it out of his basement. Got advertising for it in Sports Illustrated. Tried to get more of a loyal fan base to follow him. Ended up releasing the football game in 1968. The advanced baseball game in 1972, a basketball game in 1973, and the hockey game in 1978. And ever since then, they've been releasing these over and over again and creating more season files and, everything for their customers. If you were a kid growing up as a teenager, growing up in the 70s or, late 60s or 80s, you basically grew up playing Stratomatic baseball or Stratomatic hockey or Stratomatic football, or it was either Stratomatic or it was APBA, because these were the only ones out there. You had no choice but to play these. And so through the years, Stratomatic, just like these other companies that develop these games online, they basically did the same thing. They started to get a loyal fan base. They, tried to, have people invest in them and buy all their games and buy all the season files and everything, and grew as a company through the years based upon this. Now, Stratomatic has also done kind of the same thing that these other companies have done, but to be honest, way, way worse. In the fact that, as far as I can tell, the earliest I can find, and it might even go past this, but the earliest I can find was 1997 was when they released a PC version. So we're talking about 12 years ago, I think was. Again, I don't know. I don't have an exact date. It might be earlier or it might be later than that. But I came across the website that talked about 1997. Didn't have any screenshots, unfortunately, because I would love to have some screenshots of it. And so they've been basically creating their computer version for 12 years. They've been doing their card and dice now for over 50 years, I believe. I read as I was researching this, their 50th anniversary was in 2011. So if that is true, then they're working on about 58 years. They've been creating cards and dice sports games for us out there. And of course, they have a loyal fan base, as I talked about. There are two people that basically email and message me about Stratomatic. And the first one, of course, is what I said. Jester, you're just a hater. Why? I enjoy the game. I don't have any problem with it. The way it is just fine. I don't care if other people don't like it. I'm going to continue buying it and purchasing it, and supporting it because it's what I like, it's what I grew up on, and it's what I'm used to. And I find it fun, and I don't really care if anybody else does or not. Well, to be honest, there isn't anything wrong with your view on that, other than you are actually killing Stratomatic as a company because of your views on that. Just like the player or the person that comes in here and says, oh, no, this game is 10 out of 10 for sure. There's no problems with it. I love it. It's great. And another great addition to the game. And, I enjoy it and I play it. And I don't know why all these people are out there hating it. And giving it a bad rap because the game is wonderful. Okay? That's the reason the companies out there that release FIFA 20 are like, you know what? We're fine. Let's just create the same thing we did last year. Update the rosters, sell it to everyone for $60 again. It's fine. They still buy it. They love it. They love us as a company. So you as a supporter for Stratomatic, and again, I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm not saying that you're wrong. There are tons and tons of other, um, people's views. Everyone has their own thoughts and opinions on things. What I'm saying is your view of the game is being good and supporting it is hurting the game company. It's hurting you as a customer and is hurting your fellow gamers because they are leaving the game company. So let's be honest. Let's look at a game system out there. Let's look at Out of the Park 17. So this was released, I think, in 2017. And you can see this is what it was like. This is a video that I created playing the actual game. And look at the way it is. So we have little pegs as people. We have very little in the way of atmosphere in the stadiums. Basically just gray botches with a bunch of little dots on it. It's hard to follow the ball. It's hard to know, what's going on the field because it's hard to see. And look at that! What was that? Was that an outside pitch, an inside pitch? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, there's a line shot, and oh. All right, so there you go. That is the look of Out of the Park Baseball 2017. I mean, it's serviceable. It's nothing totally bad about it. It's okay. There's no issue or problems with it. It could obviously looks like it could use an update because, well, I mean, this is 2017, and you compare this to other games out there. It's like, well, wait a minute now. Obviously, being a card and dice or a sports simulation program, graphics aren't the most important thing to us out there. Obviously, we all know that. It's not the graphics, it's the gameplay, right? All right. Let's take a look at Out of the Park 20. So, mind you, this is 3 years later. 3 years later, let's take a look at Out of the Park 20 and see where, oh my gosh, look at that. You can actually see the detail in the field now. You can actually see the crowds. You can actually see the ball. Look at the guys walking. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty neat. Oh, you can see him lift his leg up when he pitches it. You can see where the ball is headed. That's pretty good. All right. That's not bad. You see him running off the field. All right. Oh, here's a pop fly into left field. Now watch this real close. And, oh, he dropped it. Oh, did you see that? I don't know if you saw it. Let's review. Let's watch that again. Here it comes. Oh, did I not have to go back a little bit farther because he dropped it. There we go. Here it comes. And, hey, makes the, oh, he drops it. Oh, my gosh. Crazy. You can actually see that from the actual play on the field. Oh, he stretches and makes it at first base. Very nice play there. Double play. That's going to be your 6-4-3 double play. Oh, that's a line shot down in the corner. Oh, that just left. Or I'm sorry, just in play, just wide of the line. And that guy is going to be in there with a stand-up double. Awesome. Very nice. Oh, that's a shot. And I can see just by the angle of the ball and how high it was, that was going to be caught out there in left field. No problem. I didn't have any feel. Unless that guy was going to drop it again. All right. So that is 3 years between this and this. Right? 3 years between the little pegs, the guys, where they don't have actual animations, they don't do anything other than move around like little pegs, and you can't see the plays that are going on in the field. All right. So there you go. So let me ask you, which would you rather play? The 2017 or the 2020 version of Out of the Park? It is clear. It is absolutely clear. It's a much better and funner game to play the 2020 version than the 2017 version. Is there anything wrong with the 2017 version? Not at all. It still plays. It still, does what it's supposed to do, but it's so much better. So much better if you actually can see things. So my my question for you out there, if you're a type A player out there and say, "Oh, Jester, you're just a hater. You don't understand. The game is fine the way it is. They don't need to innovate. They just need to keep, producing the same thing over and over and over again, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it." My question for you, an honest question, is would you rather play Stratomatic in the game system the way it is now? Or would you rather have it so that it's more interesting for you as a player to view and play it? That is my question for you out there. Would you rather? I'm not saying that Stratomatic needs to create, super animations or anything like that. That's not my point here. My point is they have been programming this game for 12 plus years. 12 plus years. And it's the exact same thing as it is today as it was in 1997. The interface is the same. The animations or lack thereof are the same. Wouldn't you as a customer rather have it so that the players actually do things on the field, they actually move to make it a little more interesting for you? When you see that fly ball go out in the left field, you have no movement on the player. You don't know whether it's a catch or not until you read the text. Wouldn't it be better for you as a player, right, to see that and say to yourself, "Oh yeah, he's going to dive and makes the catch. Whoa, that's super good play out there in left field." Isn't that a little more interesting? If you're telling me now, Jester, I love it the way it is, there's no problem with it, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to us, and you're the problem with the way the company is. Stratomatic isn't going to make any effort in their computer games when they have customers that say, "Oh, nope, 10 out of 10, I love it. There's no problem with it. I love it. It's perfect the way it is. Just leave it the way it is." And as long as you keep buying it and you keep purchasing it, then the company thinks, "Yeah, oh, look, we don't need to do anything." And that's exactly the exact same thing that's going on in sports gaming on Xbox and the PlayStation and the PC, depending on how you play it. MLB The Show, FIFA 20, NBA 20 is a travesty. And go online if you don't believe me and just type this information into YouTube. There are thousands and thousands of videos of people complaining about it and reporting it to Metacritic and calling the companies and asking people to ban it and everything. Well, us as a small, forgotten group of people out there, these people that put our hearts and souls into our sports sims, the people that play Stratomatic or APBA or Payoff Pitch or any of the baseball or hockey simulations out there, us people that put our heart and soul into things. We don't have sites like Metacritic. There is no Metacritic site out there to rate Stratomatic. There is no site out there to rate the brand new season of APBA. There is no way to review, the newest version of Payoff Pitch or Fall Classic or Out of the Park or any of those games. Actually, Out of the Park is an exception. out of the park is one of the few exceptions in that they have got one of the highest rated games on Steam. I think it's the second highest game ever rated on Steam at one point. Um, and the reason for it is, because it does a really great job of what it should do. And it's built a loyal fan base. Now, what do you think that loyal fan base is going to do in, say, 2023 if they have the exact same game then as they have now? That is where the problem lies with these game companies that develop a strong and passionate fan base. And to be honest, there are a lot of Stratomatic people that are very passionate about their game. I actually enjoy Stratomatic games. You might think of me as a hypocrite because I'm sitting here talking about Stratomatic, but I actually play Stratomatic. I played the hockey game. I play the baseball game. I enjoy playing the baseball games. This isn't about the game or the game system, right? Or the people of the company. I'm sure the people at the company at Stratomatic are fine people. This is about the way people are and the way the companies develop as companies. You can either innovate, create, and give your customers what you need, develop a strong, loyal fan base, and continue to do that, or not. And these companies that do develop a strong, loyal fan base will thrive until they get to the point where I get hundreds of messages, emails, YouTube comments from people saying, yeah, I used to play Stratomatic 10 years ago, but I stopped wasting my time and effort in that company because they're not supporting me as a customer. So basically, there is a huge loyal fan base of Stratomatic players out there, and there are a lot of disconnect between players out there that have dropped Stratomatic and have realized there are issues that they are not getting as a company. And if you are one of these loyal fans of Stratomatic and you enjoy the game, again, there's nothing wrong with the fact that you enjoy playing Stratomatic. But don't tell us that Stratomatic is perfect, the game is perfect, the system is perfect, the company is perfect, because you're the guy that's rating it a 10 out of 10 and letting this company do the same thing to you over and over and over again. Now, let's look long term, okay? Let's look long term. There are a ton of us that are in our 50s, 60s, 70s, and we've been playing Stratomatic for 30, 40, 50 years. We're starting to get up in age, right? We've been supporting this company for years. We purchase things. We enjoy playing the games. We post videos online. We do everything we can to share our passion with the game with our fellow gamers out there. What's going to happen in 5, 10, even 15 years from now when all of these older folks start passing on, right? Where is Stratomatic's new customer base coming from? Where are all the new people jumping on Stratomatic? If you go and watch the videos of people that come to Stratomatic on opening day in February or March or whenever they have it down there, go watch some videos that people post online. Everyone there is an old man that's like 50 or older. There's hardly, I mean, there's a couple kids that the grown-ups had brought with them, but you want to see a bunch of teenagers hanging out there that nobody knows, right? Where are all those kids? What's going to happen to Stratomatic when the people that have been supporting them for all these years, what's going to happen when they start passing on and they aren't spending their money on Stratomatic anymore? The company is going to go away. That's what's going to happen because they won't have that fan base anymore. They've been relying on this fan base for 30, 40, 50 years to support them. And now those people are getting on and getting up in age, and sooner or later they're going to pass on. If you take Stratomatic baseball to any kid out there from 13 to 23, and you say, hey, I'm going to buy you a free copy of Stratomatic baseball, or I'll buy you a free copy of NBA The Show, what do you think the kids are going to choose? What do you think the kids are going to choose? They're going to choose NBL The Show 99% of the time. When you show somebody the Stratomatic baseball game, they're going to laugh in your face. They will laugh in your face and say, I am not playing that. Get that out of here. That is a joke. That is ridiculous. When a company has been developing the same computer game for 12 plus years, and it's the exact same as it is now than it was then, they have put no effort into their game for you as a customer. If you're a guy that says there's nothing wrong with that, I enjoy it the way it is, you aren't looking at the big picture of what's going to happen when you stop supporting the company. When you die and all your friends die that are up in age 10 years from now, where are the people that's going to start supporting Stratomatic going to be coming from? Do you see any ads in TV or in any magazines to look at Stratomatic? No. They're relying on their loyal fan base, which keeps dwindling year after year because of one of two things. They get old and they have passed on, or they've gotten fed up with the company and left. There is your two options besides the people that go, Jester, you're just a hater. I enjoy the game the way it is, and you don't like it, then I don't see anything wrong with it. If you are that person, I am happy that you are enjoying Stratomatic. To be honest, I am happy that you enjoy Stratomatic. I am happy that you enjoy playing the game. I am happy that you found something that you like. The problem is for you to say there is nothing wrong with the way it is and I like it the way it is. That is the problem I have, because you are the one that's giving this game a 10 out of 10 for something that they have not done or changed or added or updated or anything in 20, 30, 40, or 50 plus years. Okay? That's the problem I have. If I play Stratomatic, everybody I know plays Stratomatic, but nobody younger plays Stratomatic. Nobody cares about Stratomatic that is young. We as customers, we as supporters of Stratomatic need to be able to introduce and create and help the younger kids like us when we were 16, when we were 13 years old, and you got your first Stratomatic set and you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. You have those memories, you care about it that much because you remember those treasured moments that you had from your youth, and you have kept those as part of you for all of these years. The problem is that the company hasn't advanced and grown up as you have advanced and grown up. Go back and look at anything from 1997, 2000, 2002, 2004, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2015. Go back and look at anything of those and compare them with the current version on the computer. They are the exact same thing. The exact same thing. So the company is not innovating. They are not updating. They are not changing the way they do business because they're relying on their loyal customers to keep supporting them. The problem is those loyal customers are going to get thinner and thinner and thinner through the years if the company doesn't update. For God's sakes, they're still using the same paper that they used back in the 70s. The paper that sticks together, that you cannot manipulate. If you're playing the baseball game and you're trying to flip from one player to the other, what do you have to do? You have to try and, spread the one sheet from the other. You got to lick your fingers to try and get one sheet wet. It is a nightmare. To be honest, I would ask you, as a loyal, 100% loyal customer of Stratomatic, I would ask you, wouldn't it be better to play on a cardboard laminated sheet that you can shuffle, that you can separate your cards on? Wouldn't it be better to do that? If you're telling me no, then you're lying to yourself and you're lying to us. It would be so much better, so much easier, so much faster to play the game if you can separate the cards. If you try and play the hockey game and you have the cards stacked on top of one another, watch my video from a couple days ago. You have to spend half your time just trying to separate the player cards just to try and get your line changes. That slows down the game. If you introduce that to a kid that's 8 years old or 10 years old or 12 years old and you're having problems doing it, the kid's not going to want to sit around and try to figure out how to do it. And that's just going to hurt the company down the long run. For you to say, oh, there's nothing wrong, I'm going to support this company because I like the way it is. Again, there's nothing wrong with the fact that you like playing the game. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you enjoy playing it, that you find it fun. The problem is you cannot continue saying that there's nothing wrong with the way that the company is doing this. I've got literally 20, possibly more, depending on how much time I really want to invest in this, examples to show you about this. But I'm going to show you one that kind of just stands out and really kind of shows you what I'm talking about. All right? If you go on the Stratomatic site, as you know, I've been playing a lot of hockey recently and trying to delve into hockey. We played APBA, we played Stratomatic, we're going to be playing a couple other different games. This is the Stratomatic website. As you can see, this is not a fan user created thing or anything crazy like that. Okay? This is straight from their website where you can download the rating previews for the hockey set in Excel or PDF. And you can download that and check it out for yourself. All right? I'm going to show you here what that file is. So here you go. All right, so let's undo. There we go. All right. So here it is. This is the file that you download from the Stratomatic site. This isn't, like I said, some crazy made up, person or whatever. When you order the Stratomatic hockey card and dice, if you order from them, do you know how many players are on a regular hockey team? How many players dress in an NHL regular season game? Does anybody out there know? That's right. You dress 20 players, 18 skaters, and 2 goalies. If you order the Stratomatic card and dice hockey season, this one is the 2018-2019 season, for Anaheim, you will get these 18 players. That is correct. You will get 18 players, and even though you need 20 to have a full team, you only get 18. Do you not find that just a little against the consumer? Why would a company sell you cards and dice for a game and you cannot even get a full lineup of a normal NHL team. If you are a Stratomatic fanboy, I would love to hear your answer for that question. Is that because most people don't want to have all the cards they need to play? When you play the baseball game, how would you like it if they only created maybe 12 players per team, right? And you didn't have enough for even your lineups. Okay, so I find that an issue. Now, you might say I'm a hater for that, but again, if you are telling me, oh, I love Stratomatic, I don't see anything wrong with it, and I will continue to support the company. If you don't have a problem with this, again, that's on you because that is an issue. I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill. When you need 20 players to have an actual team and they only give you 18, they're forcing us as a customer to purchase the extra players, which are then included in the extra player set. And for Anaheim, as an example, we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will get 8 players, which will bring our grand total up to 18, and 8 will be 26. So then if we order the extra players, we would have enough to actually have a full lineup and a couple spares. Now, that's not the only problem I have with this. Again, if you enjoy the game, you enjoy the company. No, let me start again. If you enjoy playing the game, you don't think there's anything wrong with it, you play it, and you love it, that's great. But don't sit here and comment and tell me there's nothing wrong with Stratomatic, that you don't see any issue with the way the company's run. You don't see any issue with the fact that they don't innovate or try to push forward as a company. Okay? Don't tell us that there's no problem with Stratomatic when I've just shown you the biggest problem. I know for sure, 100%, I had someone come to me the other day, just 2 or 3 days ago, and say, hey, Jester, I'm thinking about ordering the Stratomatic hockey. What do you think? I gave them my opinion. They found out you can only get 18 players, and they said, that's it. I'm not ordering it. Okay? That's just one person that I happen to know that did this. Now let's talk about the other 30, 40, 50, 60 people out there that I don't know that this happened to. If you're a customer and you're a loyal supporter of Stratomatic, that should bother you. You should not say, no, I don't care. I don't care if nobody orders as long as I'm happy with it. No, that should bother you because that's people that are supporting the company that you support that gives them the money to create new things, to create better things, to innovate, to do all the things they need to do to continue operating as a company. It should bother you if you have customers that won't buy it because of silly, stupid things like this. Now, let's talk about the second biggest problem I have with this, right? Still Anaheim here. You will notice these here have 2 X's. These have 1 X. These are blank. What does that mean, you might ask? Well, I'm going to show you what that means because that's what I do. There's one thing that I do in life, and that is prove a point, and I'm going to prove it to you. A blank means that that player comes in the regular set. So the blanks come in the regular set, so you can see quickly there are 18 players there that come in the regular set. If a player has an X, those are the additional players. So the X players come in the additional set. Oh, but we're not done. Au contraire. My friends, 2 X's is a computer-only player. So These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players only come if you order the computer version. Only come in the computer version. So what that means is there is a total of 41 players. 14 of those you can only get on the computer. And this, by the way, is not just hockey. I just happen to have this file available. We will show you more and interesting things about this, hopefully in the next episode. But yes, there is 14 players that you can only get in the computer version. So if you are telling me, if you are Jester, you're just a hater, why are you like this? My question for you is, why? Why can I not order these 14 players other than on the computer? Why can I not get a card and dice of these 14 players? Why is it impossible? Why is that? I'm asking a serious question. I'm not trying to be snarky. I'm asking an honest to goodness question. If you are a Stratomatic fanboy and you're telling me there's nothing wrong with Stratomatic and I'm just a hater, why is it that 14 of my 41 cards I can only get on the computer? Why can I not get those in cards and dice format? By the way, that is 34.15%. 34%. I am not getting when I order the cards and dice. Those are players that I would like to have as a card and dice player. Why can I not get those? Why are they hidden behind the computer version? These are the reasons that you have customers leaving Stratomatic every single day, year after year after year. They get fed up with this stuff. They get to the point where it's like, all right, I can't take it anymore. I give up. I'm done. I'm not going to waste my money. They want me to buy the computer. They want me to buy the board game version. They are forcing me. They're forcing me to buy the extra players. And eventually you get players that say, you know what? This is the same it was last year. It's the exact same thing as it was last year. They're not changing anything they've done. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I'm moving on. If you are a loyal customer of Stratomatic, that should bother you, because the less people investing in the company, the less people that care about doing business with them, those people are telling other people, don't bother with Stratomatic, and this is why. Don't invest in the company. Don't put yourself in there. And the biggest fault of all of this is not you as the customer. The biggest fault is the way Stratomatic has been relying on their customers. The same group that grew up with them all of these years, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, all those people, those are the ones they have been relying on for all these years to keep supporting them. The loyal fan base that grew up with them, the people that go, yeah, I love Stratomatic. I play it all the time. It's great. I buy it every year. Those are the people that Stratomatic goes, oh, well, innovation? Bah, what's that? We don't need it. We're fine. Just a new game every year. Ah, yeah, $60, 65, whatever it takes. We'll just keep charging them. Innovation? Why do we? No, that would take way too much out of. No. Seriously, no. Just to tell you how bad it is. I came across this just last week in my Stratomatic baseball game. All right, in my Stratomatic baseball computer game, which I play cards and dice. I have the computer version, keep all my stats and all of the outcomes that I use to roll the dice on. I came across an issue when the Cardinals played the Cubs, and the Cubs scored 10 runs against the Cardinals in an inning. I know, not happy about it either. Not very helpful, not very good, rather disappointing. All right? Interesting part. When I looked up at the scoreboard and checked out the scoreboard that's on the computer version, it didn't say 10. It said star. It starred it. So it didn't tell me how many runs were in that inning, actually. So in the 12 plus years that Stratomatic has been putting out a computer game, they have literally decided never to do something as complicated as making sure you can put something as mind-blowing as a 2-digit number in an inning. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? That's just insane to think that, wait a minute, we should be able to put a 2-digit number in an inning? For God's sakes, they can do it at Fenway Park on their little scoreboard, which I did actually find a screenshot of that because I wanted to prove a point. I have between 10 and 12 other computer baseball simulations out there. And guess how many of them can't put a double-digit number in an inning? If you score 10 or more runs in an inning against a team, guess how many of the 10 or 12 I own cannot put a double-digit number in there and has to put an asterisk or something else in there? There is only one. The only one that I own that cannot do that is Stratomatic. And you're telling me, as a customer, that shows me great customer service? That shows me great customer support. You are wondering why there are people leaving Stratomatic day after day after day, leaving the company and refusing to purchase anymore, refusing to support the company anymore, and that is the reason why. If you are a guy that's coming in the comments and saying, Stratomatic's great, Stratomatic's wonderful, there's nothing wrong with it, you're just a hater, Jester, and I'm unsubscribing and you're a jerk. And that's probably fine. You can do that. There's no problem with that. But what I want you to take away from this video is that's the problem with the reason they're doing what they're doing. You are part of the issue when you take a game that's broken and an exact copy of last year and you're saying, nope, I love it, 10 out of 10, there's nothing wrong with it. You are the problem that's helping support the reason Stratomatic isn't innovating and Stratomatic isn't doing anything to update, to create. I'm not saying they have to be, super good graphics, but as we saw before, they've been programming the same game every single year, and they release it every single year, and people go, no, I'm not buying the same game that was out there last year. No, it's not acceptable for you to do that. It's not acceptable for you to say, hey, guess what? I'm going to release the same game that I released last year with just a roster update. The people out there that play the Xbox, the PlayStation, and on the PC, you play MLB The Show, or you play FIFA 20, if you play that, right? If you buy that and you accept that, no. There are thousands of videos online. It is overwhelmingly disliked. People are up in arms saying this is ridiculous. How can you sell the same game that you sold last year over and over and over again with nothing but a roster update? My question is, how does Stratomatic get away with it? They have released the exact same game over and over and over and over again, year after year, with nothing but a roster update and a few minor tweaks if there was some rule changes to that sport, like when hockey went to 3-on-3 in overtime as opposed to 4-on-4. Okay, so minor updates if the sports changed anything. But you go and watch, go look and watch. I have hockey games back in 2015 Stratomatic on my channel. Go back and watch those. And then go watch anyone that's doing a current. Retro Sports Network just did a 2019 hockey Stratomatic. Go watch it. It is the exact same play. It is the exact same result over and over and over again. The guy takes a shot from the point. It hits the goalie, it bounces in front, and then the players go back to center ice. Over and over and over and over again. It is monotonous. It is boring. It is without any effort. It is without any soul. It is without any innovation. It is without any effort. And they do it year after year after year. And they've been doing that, the same thing. They've been doing the exact same thing in the sports sim on Xbox and PlayStation. And the people are going through the roof. I am not buying the same game that I bought last year when all you do is update a roster file and sell it to me for $60. That is a waste of my time. It is a waste of my money. And you should be doing better than that. You should be putting more effort into it. Why does Stratomatic think they can get away with it? They've been getting away with it for so many years, relying on their loyal customers to buy year after year after year after year and just going along without any changes to that format for year after year after year. And the reason for that is there is no website to go to. There is no Metacritic for Stratomatic Hockey 2019. There's no website out there that we can go as customers and say, this is not acceptable. This is not right. If you are a game company and you're releasing the same product year after year after year without any effort, without any innovation, without any thought to your customers, we're not going to continue supporting you. We're not going to continue buying it. There is a huge boycott going on the internet right now on FIFA 20. Do not buy FIFA 20. Now, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. Whatever you do with your money is fine. You can do whatever you want. I'm not even telling you that. I'm not calling for a boycott. I'm not doing any of this. All I'm doing is giving you the information that you need to make good decisions as a customer. That's all I'm doing with this video. And I just hope to God that players out there will open up and realize and think about things a lot more and see the big picture. I'm not looking at just what's going on now. I'm concerned in 5 years, 10 years, when all of these players that are buying Stratomatic are starting to die off, what's going to happen? The company's going to go away. They're not going to be able to support themselves anymore. I would say 90% or more of Stratomatic players are 50 to 55 or older. 90% of them. And the reason that is because they have done nothing, absolutely nothing as a company to try and get any of the younger generation involved. The only younger generation are involved is if you have a son or a daughter and you're been playing Stratomatic, and you teach them how to do it. Those are the only kids that are involved in it. Those are the only people that are involved. When I was in high school, we would stay after school and play board games and play different things, and there was kids that played Stratomatic, back then doing that. They don't do that anymore. There's no Stratomatic clubs after school. There's none of that going on. And the reason there isn't is because people get moved on because they're like, it's just too hard to manage the cards. I don't get all the cards. I cannot even purchase. It's not even physically possible. If Stratomatic was to say, here's the 2018 season with every card we have for $99. Here you go. Buy every card we have for $99. Can't even do it because they don't. They don't give you those cards. The reason they don't give you those cards is because they want you to buy the computer version. Without that, you will not buy the computer version. So they are forcing you as a customer, they're forcing you to buy the cards and dice version. They are forcing you to buy the extra player card and dice because of what I told you earlier. You only get 18 players, not even enough to field a full hockey team. So you have to buy the extra players. And then they are forcing you to buy the computer version so you have access to see what all the extra players are. So you have to buy the regular version, you have to buy the extra players, and you have to buy the computer version. Instead, let's try something new. Let me throw something out there, right? Just off the top of my head, just thinking. What if next year's computer version, they updated it with some new updated graphics, right? You actually got to see players' names, or maybe once they score, the players all huddle around, and they kind of bounce them around a little bit, like they're jumping up and down, and put their sticks in the air or something like that, right? I know, crazy. Now all of a sudden, me as a customer, I go, they're updating it, and they're going to add some new animations to it, You know what? Next year when it comes out, I'm gonna buy the computer version next year, right? That's the difference between what a company does to support their customers and a company that doesn't. When a company forces you as a customer to buy extra players, and they force you as a customer to buy the computer version just so you have access to all the players you should, you feel as a customer like you are being let down. You are feeling forced to buy all this stuff by the company. Instead of the company going, hey, let's make the customers want to buy the new version of the computer. Let's innovate and create new things. Maybe we'll put the logos in there. Maybe we'll add, some kind of animation when the goals come scored. Maybe in overtime we'll have some fancy graphic that comes up or something, neat and interesting, right? For the players. Make the players want to buy the new version. I know, it's crazy out there. I'm probably insane. I can see the comments in the comment section going on right now where people are like, Jester, you're just freaking insane, man. I don't know what's wrong with you. You need to take some lithium. You're coming up with this stuff that is like out of this world, right? Have your customers want to buy all of this new stuff because you are adding things, right? How many people out there would go, hey, Stratomatic posts a message and says, next year, guess what, guys? We're going to try a new paper that's non-stick. Okay, we're not going to glue all of our cards together next year. So next year we're going to try a new paper. Love to hear your feedback on the new paper next year. If you guys can let us know how we're doing as a customer. Next year, baseball season, and we're going to throw in an extra 2 players per team next year just because we're going to give you a big thank you for testing out the new paper and letting us know what you think. We're going to give you guys a couple extra players for each team next year. All of a sudden, your player base as Stratomatic are now messaging one another. Dude, did you hear what Stratomatic's doing next year? They're going to come out with new paper, non-stick. We definitely got to try it out next year and see what's going on and see how it's going to be. And we're going to get some extra players for it. So the players, all of a sudden, your customers want to buy. They want to buy your game. They want to invest in your company because you as a company are doing something that they want. I'm going to update the computer version. I'm going to create new graphics. I'm going to create new this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it easier for you to do line shifts. I'm going to have it so you can auto program in your next line so you don't need to click the button 16 freaking times to make a line change in your hockey game. All you have to do now is, while the play's going on, click the next line you want to come out, and when you're ready, hit the button. Bam! Holy crap! All of a sudden, the computer game is twice as good, and I'm just thinking of shit off the top of my head. Just stuff off the top of my head, right? It's because people are leaving the company because they're forced to buy the players, the extra players, the computer versions every single year for every sport they play. And they're forced to do it instead of wanting to do it because the company is stepping up and saying, we need to do this as a company if we want to be viable, not just to our loyal fan base, but to everyone out there, anyone that would be interested in joining us. We need to, as a company, send out free games to schools out there so kids can be involved. Now, maybe they're doing that. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe the Stratomatic does that. Maybe they donate so many a year out there to the different schools or whatever. Maybe they do, maybe not. I'm just thinking of things off the top of my head as customers. All of a sudden, I'm calling, I'm messaging, I'm telling people, you go. Listen, you know what they're doing next year? They're doing this. They're doing that. They're changing this. They're going to add this stat in. They're going to add more color to the top of the player cards. They're going to highlight. If it's a good stat, they're going to highlight it in green. If it's a bad stat, they're going to highlight it in red. So you can look at a card and you can say, oh my God, this guy's got 2 red and no green. He's not good compared to the other guy who's got 3 green and 1 red. I can quickly look at 2 cards and go, yeah, look at that. This guy's got 3. He's only got, the other guy's got 2 red and no green. This guy must be a better. I'm going to put him in. Holy crap. Then all of a sudden your player base goes, I need to buy these cards that are color-coded, instead of forcing your customers to do it year after year after year after year. And if you, as a loyal 100%, I love Stratomatic, I enjoy playing it, this is what you need to strive for. This is what you need to have your company strive for. Your company doesn't need you to go, yeah, Stratomatic's fine the way it is. There's no problem with it. It's wonderful the way it is, and I enjoy everything that the company does. Those are the people that cause the problem because Stratomatic thinks they're doing fine. There's nowhere out there where Stratomatic has a Metacritic score where we can go on and say, nope, this is ridiculous. You cannot continue selling us the same product year after year after year and change nothing about it other than roster updates and charge us full price. I'm not even going to get into, in this episode, I'm not even going to get into the fact that they force you as a customer, again, force you as a customer, if you want to play the newest edition, you have to have the newest version of the computer game. You cannot play some of the older seasons unless you have some of the up-to-date versions of the computer game. I'm not even going to get into that because that would be another 10 to 15 minutes explanation. This is not a rant, right? This is an explanation of how the company, Stratomatic, should be treating their customers. The main thing is, Stratomatic should be doing whatever they can to have their customers want to buy their stuff, to want to invest in the company, and not feel like they're being forced to buy the regular season cards, the extra player cards, just so they have enough to field a full team. Or if they're going to do a replay, if you're playing baseball, the only way to get enough players on your team to do the replay is buy the extra cards. And then, of course, the computer versions, which have all those extra players that you cannot get as a customer in card and dice. Sure, you can try and print them out yourself, right? Sure, you could do that, but are the cards going to be the same? Why are they hidden? Why is 35% of your baseball, hockey, football, basketball, whatever game sport you enjoy, why is 35% of your player cards hidden in the computer and not available? That's what I would question. Anyone that would tell me I'm a hater, I don't like Stratomatic because I'm a jerk and everything. The simple question, why can I not get all the player cards? Why are they hidden in the computer? Why I can't even if they charged me an extra $20 for all of the other cards, why can't they do that? Why can't they go, here is extra player pack 1, and then these are the fringe player, we're going to call those extra player pack 2, and that'll cost you an extra $12 or $15 or whatever. And if you want those extra guys, there you go. Why? Why can't they be that way? If you are a Stratomatic fan, you should want to have all of your cards. You should want your company out there to supply everything for the customers. You should want other customers to want to purchase things for the company that you're supporting. It's as simple as that. Well, hopefully I've at least given you something to think about. And I can't wait to read your thoughts and comments below. Be sure to do that, because I think it'll be quite interesting to hear what people have to say about the rise and fall of America's card company, Stratomatic. This is the end of part 1. After I get some feedback, some thoughts, we'll talk about them in part 2. And also, if you are a friend of someone at Stratomatic, if you are someone that has contact with them, and if you can talk with them and say, hey, ID Jester would love to have you on his show and talk to you and find out why these things are not done the way they're done. If you feel like anyone there would love to come and talk with me, I would love to have you. Again, I enjoy playing the games. I think it's great, but I'm on the fence, like everyone else, about supporting a company that does not support their customers. There gives me no incentive to buy anything from the customer or from the company when I feel forced to do it instead of wanting to do it. There are so many different baseball games and systems and different innovations and different companies that are playing and coming out with these baseball games and different things right now. Why would I spend my money on $60 or $68 or whatever it is for the computer version of Stratomatic when it's an exact same copy as last year? Why is it not acceptable in the regular sports game community, but yet us as Stratomatic fans find it 100% acceptable that they release the same game year after year after year with nothing but a roster update. Why is that okay? It should not be okay for any of us out there. We should all be in arms. Every single Stratomatic player that plays Stratomatic should contact the company and say, this is not acceptable. If you release the same version next year, I am not buying it. You need to innovate. You need to update. You need to treat your customer base like they are your lifeblood, which we are. And if you don't, you're going to keep losing players day after day after day. And if you want to continue as a company, you cannot rely on the same people buying your stuff year after year after year, because sooner or later that well is going to run dry. So as a customer, I beg of you, make some innovations to your game computer. Give us something new and interesting on the player cards. Give us access to the freaking cards that our customers deserve. Don't force us to buy extra things. Want us to buy extra things. There's so many passionate people that I know that would love to just click, 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 and have like 20 things in their checkout box. Have a whole bunch of things just added in there. Yep, that's fine. I don't care how much it is. Click, go, buy, and be done. Oh, and they'd be so happy. They would love it, right? But they don't. They don't do that because they think, oh my God, I'm getting ripped off. This is ridiculous. It's the same thing as last year. Why would I want to buy this? This is a ripoff. And they don't do that. As a company, as a loyal customer, you should go to the company. Every single Stratomatic person out there should go to the customer. They have something on their website where you can actually, let's see, do I have it somewhere? Contact right here, right? And I think you can go down here. Tech support, email addresses, tech support. Forget that. Let's go right up the ladder. Corporate info. Email your corporate person and say, why are you, as a company, not supporting us as a customer? And list it over and over and over again. Number one, you are releasing the same product year after year after year with nothing but a roster update. This is unacceptable. I will no longer purchase it. $60 can be better spent on other things. How come I don't have access to all of the cards? Why are you hiding so many 35% of my player cards in the computer version only? And trying to force me to buy your computer version that you're not updating. Ask them these questions. Find out. It's a company, if I all of a sudden got 150 emails from people going, damn, they want to know why we're doing all these things, maybe we should look into that. But if you sit back and go, nope, sorry, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, Stratomatic, it's great, love it, woohoo. Then in 10 years, you might as well kiss it goodbye. Because nobody's going to be supporting it. It's going to keep losing players, and people are going to start dying and leaving it without its loyal fan base anymore. Think about that. We'll be back for episode 2. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you next time.